Besiegers, how you doing today? Okay, back to Besiege again. And so this week we're looking at tanks, artillery, steam trains, and we've even got an extended tutorial at the end showing you how to make tank tracks better this time. Now this guy here is 1400 blocks, but this is the end of his life because it didn't work out the way I hoped it would, or because what I wanted to do was put sort of live ammo in it, some kind of weapon in the turret. But I couldn't squeeze it in, not the one I wanted anyway. So that told me that I had designed it wrong. I should have designed the turret first and then tracks around it. But it was still a good exercise because it's the biggest tank I have built. Let's say 1400. And those tracks are a lot more realistic, I think, in terms of, it's got that classic wedge shape at the front and the back. And this time they're 3 units wide each, so it's a big monster. But it's a good looking machine, not bad at all. Run over these little baggers, and squish them into the ground. Quite crunchy. But let us say, that's the end of its days. It's not finished, as you can see. I didn't make a real proper job of the top of it, of the turret. It was just in a quick hurry to get it finished. But like I say, we will have another use for it in a minute. So, yeah. It does it. I don't know which kind of tank it looks like. It doesn't look like a Stalin, and it doesn't look like maybe it looks a little bit Sherman-y, I think. Let me know in the comments, you tank experts. But yeah, I'll definitely build more, but I'm going to give them a rest for a while because we have been building a lot of tanks recently. But let's see, good tutorial at the end. Okay, artillery. I wanted to make a hopper-fed one like I did for the grenades the other week, but this time with bombs. Now obviously bombs is a lot harder because they tend to rub against each other and their environment and blow up in your face. So keeping them all separated was the task. What I did was, as you'll see here, there's 3 layers of bombs, 6, 6 and 5, separated by the wood panels, and each section has its own floor, wooden floor. The first floor's only got 1 gap in it for the bombs to fall into the chute, and the other 2 floors are about half filled, half empty, so that there's plenty of spaces for them to fall down as the firing progresses. That's what it looks like really there. That's it complete, but it was kind of ugly, so I just put the blades around it and the armour plates and everything else, trying to tart it up a little bit to look better. But I achieved what I was... Originally what I wanted to do was mount maybe a 1 or 2 level version of that onto that tank, but it wasn't fitting, so I'll maybe have another go at that sometime later on. But meantime, we lined the tank up and we had a good pop at it, so since it's on the way out, that's a good thing though. If you've got a machine that hasn't worked out, rather than just crying over spilt milk, you can start chucking bombs at it, and it's very satisfying, it really is. And I even incorporated it into another little game in a minute, which we'll see, to spice up the freighters. So yeah, it's very satisfying to watch these things come apart. Right, so I chucked another couple at it here just to get my eye in. And what I'm doing here is, the whole idea with the artillery unit was to be able to operate it from a distance. So you're not looking down the sights, you're just tapping the controls. And then, as if you were one of the forward guys for an artillery unit, a spotter, and you're calling in the rounds. So I just wanted to see how effective it could be at that. Because it's reasonably accurate. It's piling them into much the same spot every time. Yeah, very nice. Alright, let's have a go. We've got 17 shots and we're going to try and take out the tank and all 4 freighters. Okay, so the first shot is beautiful. Straight into the freighter right away, no problem. Second shot misses. Third shot finds the tank. Alright, got 14 left. But what I stupidly did now was I got into it too much because I love whacking that tank. And I chucked another 2 or 3 into the tank, just for good measure. There you go. Yeah, so that left me a little bit short. So it's now time to take out the freighters, and I don't know how many I've got left, so I've got to be really careful. Remember, I'm trying to aim this from a distance, so it's really quite difficult. First one misses. Okay, we'll give myself a little bit of a chance to move over. Second one misses. 3 misses. I'm not looking too good here. Oh, 4 wasted shots. 5. Really bad, and then we find it and boom, took it out. So we're down on shots here. You need to start picking up on the accuracy. And this one is absolutely spot on. Yeah. Nice shoot text. So I think that was about it, because actually I missed the rest of them here, and then this bugger got away from me. But it's a good little game. Just something to spice up the freighters a little bit. It's a good artillery unit. It's up on the workshop. If you want to get it, go and get it, download it, take it apart, find out how it's made, or build it into something, or do what you want with it. It's up there. And that's that. Okay, next we go to trains. Oh, just before we go, just wanted to show you the inside of this. It looks very fruity to me. It looks like a segment of a, I don't know, orange or something, isn't it? It's very strange looking, very orderly. Anyway, rubbish. Let's move on. Right, okay, steam train time. I made this bugger. This is a monster. Now, it's pretty ugly to look at. Yeah, there's no decoration on it. I've not attempted to make it look like a proper train yet. Because what I was really concentrating on was getting that steam engine working and getting the energy into the wheels. So I've used a lot of mods for this. We used the Precision Builder mod and the Editor mod to get it all together. Now we'll explode it in a second. What we'll do is we'll take it apart in a second so you can see the engine. The engine's quite different. And there's 80 cannons in there. 80 of them, 80. Fire on that thing, but it does weighs a ton. It's a big monster. But there you go. Invincibility should have been on, but it wasn't. It's quite a dramatic old burst there. Like that. Right, okay, so the thing was to get it get as much energy into it as possible and get the engine as compact as possible. So with 80 cannons, you have to start squeezing them into the same place. Now there's a technique for placing them. I think I've covered that with you before, where you can place a cannon on exactly the same spot. You can get up to 4 or 5. In this instance, I did 2 rows. It looks good there, isn't it? It's quite convincing to an extent. The steaming beast. Just looks a bit crap, that cabin and all the gearings. The gearings were terrible. It needs a gearbox. It would have gone a lot faster if I had some stage gearing. Okay, here it is taken apart. And you can see I've put 5 cannons on each spot, and then I've squished the cannons themselves together by 0.4 of a block. So they're very, very tight, which means that one flamethrower can now heat up a row of 8 cannons. See that? They're all squished together. Yeah, and then there's 2 sets of them. And then what they're driving is those ballasts have been placed on a worm screw type affair using Precision Builder. I'll show you how to do that in a wee minute because it's quite a good technique. And basically that's it. That's all there is to it. It took quite a while to get this, but I was quite pleased once I got it. But it needs to be really super stable, because that's where all the braces and the blocks, because the slightest little movement with the what do you call them again, the cannons, and they derp out and they're all over the place and they start screaming. So you really need to bolt them down for doing anything like that. But that's it. That's what 80 steam cannons looks like. Pushing a train. It's got a sort of old steam train look about it, hasn't it? Yeah, it does. I think it's alright. I like that one. Okay, so what it is you are placing the ballast on one side of a block, but you're using a negative placement figure and an adjusted radius, and every time you placed one, you were adding on something to the minus figure. You were adding on 0.6 of a block, so that it would push out by 0.6 of a block and twist through its radius, as you see, and go through a 45-degree shift, as you see at the very bottom, rotate. And what we end up with is a skewered effect, that sort of spirally worm. Really well. Quite pleased with that. So we'll go into the tutorial now properly, and we'll cover the tank tracks. I'm going to show you how to do it this time without using pistons to keep them apart, just by moving the wheels about and then building the track first of all before you put anything into it at all. So let's get right into that just now. Okay, let's build the tank track. I've magnified these panels so you can see what's happening with the Precision Builder and Editor Plus when I'm using them. But what we're going to do is we're going to use hinges to make this tank track, because I know that most people like that. But what I do is I tend to reset them by 0.35 of a block. So you'll see at placement offset I've got minus 0.35 set into it, and then at rotate axis I've got 20 degrees. 20 degrees is the perfect size for going round large wheels if you use the 0.35 reset. Find your own size, but this is what I'm trying to show you here today, is a way of doing it without putting the wheels on first, which is because it's trickier that way. So put a few straight ones on, and then what you want to do is you want to select, if you're going along the red axis, you want to select the first box of the rotate axis, put a number 1 in it, and it will start twisting. Yeah, twist it until you think it's got enough, because you want to get that classic tank shape, and then remove the 1. You don't need to put a 0 back in, or you can switch placement off altogether like that. And what you will find we're going to have a look at the wheel here, sorry. We're just going to use the Editor Plus to nudge this down and into place, so you will see that 20 degrees is just about right for this type of track that I've made. If you put a different spacing on the hinges, I'm not sure, it might change. Experiment, find out. But start with a 20, see how you get on. But by the end of this, we will have built a single tank track that stands up on its own without pistons and goes. So, and we'll get it first time. So it's good technique. So there you go. That's roughly the idea. We're going to do that a few times over. But let's say we're just going to make a single track here. Right. So going back to the bit, where are we? Yeah, put placement back on, and we want to go straight here. So we'll take the rotate axis one off. See, I've cleared it, and then we'll come down. Now I changed my mind after I did a couple. I thought that was too steep an angle. I don't like it. I want it a tighter angle. So I unwound it, retreated, delete, 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 back to the first bent one, and then I put another angled one back in, and that tightened up the angle. I'm much happier with that. So then I take that out again. So it's the one goes in and out whenever you want the angles to appear. That's all you need to do. And then we're away now. Now I've got a nice tight angle. Count down by about 4 or 5 blocks, whatever. Then put the one back on rotate axis to level it out. See, like that. And away you go. 2, and then take the 1 away again now. It's just a 1. It's just any digit in there activates that. It doesn't have to be the actual degrees that you're changing things by. And you don't have to put 0 in. So it's just 1 or nothing there at all. It's really quite simple. It's a switch, a toggle. Right, when you decide it's time to come back up again, you put the 1 back in the box, and it will start bending up. And then you come up to the desired amount. See, I've moved these big panels about. You come up to the desired amount. That's too twisty. Let's come back a bit there. And go take the 1 out again, like that. Click it, and then come up the slope for as many as you think is necessary. Normally you would count them on either side. You'd be very precise. I'm just doing this off the top of my head here, so I make a couple of mistakes, but that's quite good because you can see how to correct them. What happens is we go too high here. As you will see, we put in our final curve, hoping to come out on level at the same as what the top tank tracks are, and we come out 1 under. So what we've got to do is we've got to undo those angle ones and put 1 straight one back in. So take the 1 out, put a 1 on, and then put the 1 back in again, and that puts us onto angles. So this time we should arrive at the exact same plane. There we are, pointing right at it. Okay, so it's now a simple matter of just completing the chain. There is a real extra link that we're going to put in. I'm going to show you how to put a link in. It didn't work very well because the spacing was all wrong. To use this technique with a 0.35, you have to adjust the length of the track so that it's divisible by that 0.35, and I didn't do that correctly. So, but I'll show you this technique anyway. It's a good technique. If you can't get a link in, you use the Precision Builder to shove it in sideways for you, so that when you click on it, it jumps to the right and goes into position. Yeah, watch this. So first of all, I put a 1 in the middle of the placement offset, and that wasn't right. So I put a 1 there and cancelled the other one out. Notice that, placement offset. Now it jumps to the left, so I need to make that a negative number. So -1 will put me right into the middle of the track. Watch. I'll just clear that out eventually. Now when I hit this, it'll jump. Oops, I put a X in by accident. This time, when I click it, it'll jump. There it goes, it jumps in. As you see, it's come up a bit tight. That's because I didn't count the links in. But experiment, you'll find out. See if it works. Okay, so that's us finished with Precision Builder for a minute. So we'll make that panel go away and we'll change it to Editor Plus. And what I always do is I use Editor Plus like this at 0.1. Yeah, so that's my default setting. And then if I'm making big changes, I put a 2 in or a 4 or a 10 and jump it across that way, like this. So we've just copied that wheel and we're taking it along it because we know it's on the right level. And then when you want to make the fine adjustments, take the 2 out, usually with the 0.1, and you can tweak it then. See, up, down. Perfect. Let's start again. So you copy that one, and then again, change the thing. Oh, I didn't. I stuck with the 0.1 there. It's very slow going by the 0.1, but if you've got patience, it's all right. It doesn't matter. If you're in a hurry, just change it up to whole numbers. So you can see it's starting to take shape already. It's got a classic tank look. This one, unlike that tank I showed you earlier, is able to take big wheels all round. The other one could only take small wheels as road wheels, whereas this one can take them all, no problem. Right. Nearly getting there. Not really much for me to tell you right now, so I'm just bumping my gums together. Right, so we've got to get blocks onto the back of them. That's a kind of tricky one as well, but I'll show you how to do that using Precision Builder. It's actually not tricky at all, it's really easy once I've got all the wheels in place. We're going to nudge them in here a wee bit because they're all sitting just a bit outside of where I want them to be, not quite in line with the hinges, and this brings them nice and tight in. So there we go. I don't know what I'm doing here, I'm just faffing about with cogs. I was thinking of putting on the big cogs just to keep the hinges on the wheels, but it's just a demonstrator, so there was no really need for that bit. So I'm just faffing around. So I've got one last copy to do to put a wheel in the middle of the top section of the links of the tread. But like I'm a bit on with that in a minute and stop farting about. There we go. Change it to 2.1. Blast it across. I'm thinking at this point should I put 2 up there or just a 1, so I'll move it over and I think we'll just stick with a 1. Okay. Yeah, we're on track. So now it's time to put blocks on the back of the wheel so they've got something to grip onto or spin against. So use Precision Builder, and this time you set it to a minus, I think it was -2 in the last box of placement offset. I started off -1.5, but it's actually, I ended up going to -2, as you'll see. 1.5, it just leaves it sticking out a little bit. But that's all you need. You don't tick the rotate after placing block or anything like that, and you don't have anything in rotate axis. It's just a straightforward push. All you're saying is I want to place the block, but I want it to be 2 blocks deeper than where I am actually clicking, and it just slots in. There you go. And now you just jump around all of them and put all their blocks on. Simple as that. Now what we do is we put some spinners on the front, tighten it all up with braces, and say goodbye to the big panels. Hopefully the big panels helped you a little bit. I know how to do that quite easily now, so any future tutorials I will use them. Just quickly get all this. There's another interesting mistake for you to see that I've made in a minute. You can't see it by looking at it just now, but when I hit spacebar you will see it alright. And then I'll show you how to get out of it. It's really simple. It's a common mistake to make with the Editor Plus, as you'll see in a minute. Right, so there we are, we're all connected up. Drop it onto the ground. And then hit spacebar, and I was hoping that it would be okay, but it wasn't, because it went absolutely mental. The reason is I'd left a couple of copies of wheels inside wheels. They're doubled up. An easy way to find out if you've done that is just to hover over them, and you get a blood red rather than a pale red. See that? Blood red, and you just click X on it to get rid of the copy. And it's as simple as that. That's all you have to do. And away we go. And that's us, our tread. Done in real time. See, no pistons. That link that I put in was wrong. You can see it's actually giving it problems now. I would have gone back and fixed that by now, but because it's just a demo, I just thought I'd leave it. But yeah, it's quite a pleasing shape, and it works really well. It's very light, it's very fast. You can make a really good tank with that. Okay folks, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.